Pain Gang Enterprises, PAT. Proud of Pat. You know, it's good to have you today, homie. You know,
appreciate you for having me.
You've been playing a major role in the city as far as music and entertainment. You out here making music, releasing videos, throwing parties. You know, you creating a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Before we get into all that,
facts.
You know, some people may think you come off as cocky or arrogant, but I want you to tell the viewers, who is PAT? You know, where you from and how long you been making music?
First of all, Trey 1-8's on, you know what I'm saying, 318. I'm from Pain Subdivision, Pain Gang when I bang, all that. As far as PAT, man, I'm a God-fearing man, first of all. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my father, my Lord, you know what I'm saying, my God, my Savior. But as far as me being cocky and arrogant, it's just the people that don't know me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know me, and then if you don't know me, I might be cocky and arrogant, whatever, but you know what I'm saying, I just don't know you, so I'm not really gonna acknowledge you in the way you would expect me to acknowledge you, because I don't know you. You know me, but I don't know you. But I mean, it's nothing really major like that. It's just the fact that I know what I'm worth, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know yourself, you gotta know your worth, you gotta love yourself. I ain't really that cocky, I'm confident, I know where I'm going, I know what God got for me, you know what I'm saying? But anything besides that, you know, I'm just a regular dude trying to make irregular shit happen. Can we curse? Alright. Alright. Well, I'm just trying to make irregular things happen, man, you know what I'm saying? It's just some stuff that I'm on that people that don't really understand, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, you know, I'm full of the Holy Spirit. I'm a godly dude, I'm real cool, you know what I'm saying? People just don't know me, you just gotta know me better. But you know, I rap, I do events, I host events, and I'm really just a full sauce individual.
I feel
you know what I'm saying?
When did you start rapping? When did you notice that you had a passion for music?
Man, I was in front of the TV rapping lyrics to other people's songs and stuff like that when I was probably 4 years old, 3-4 years old. And then like I remember being in Pain, I'm like 4, 5, and my older cousin, man, Jarvis, used to always rap around me. And before I could even put words together or whatever, I used to rap. You know, he'd be freestyling and I rap, wouldn't be saying real words, but I'd be making the end of the lines rhyme though. And you know what I'm saying, everybody used to be tripping like, man, he really ripping, like, you know what I'm saying, he really ripping. He ain't even, you know what I'm saying words, but you could tell I had the flow and I made whatever I was saying at the end of the line, it rhymed with the next line. So it was just like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
So you've been rapping most of your life?
Man, I've been rapping more than most of my life, man. I've been rapping all my life. Before I probably was spitting rhymes before I could talk. And this ain't just no facades or nothing like that. I'm not just talking, like, I've been doing that, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do.
That's good. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, was it last year or 2014 you released the 22 mixtape?
22 the mixtape came out the end of 2014.
In 2014.
Yeah.
You got a nice response from it.
Right.
The single that stood out the most was that 2 in the morning joint.
Facts.
So when that 2 in the morning joint come on, you know, I saw it for myself. Ladies twerking, dancing, and having a good time.
Facts.
How did you feel about that?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like 2 in the morning really happened on accident. That wouldn't, you know, I mean, if you listen to the song, a lot of people know that ain't my flavor. Like I'm really down with the core of hip hop. Like I really like the spitballs and like all the elements, like the real elements of hip hop. And I like to really just tell stories and stuff like that. But I met up with the producer of 2 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? He was like, it's a guy named Terry Enterprise. Terry Enterprise, named Justin Terry, and he, you know, so he was trying to get a buzz out here in Natchitoches, and he was always asking people like, who the hottest rapper out here, who doing music out here in Natchitoches. He came from Texas. He stayed out here for a while, and everybody was telling him PAT. He said he kept hearing my name, PAT. Everybody was telling him, man, PAT do that joint. He throw parties. He rap, man. He cold. You know what I'm saying? He like the hottest thing out here, or whatever. Blah blah blah. So he was like, man, look. Everybody, he finally met up with me. He was just having to be at the same place that I was at the time. He was like, man, look, I got this beat. I don't know if you get down with that little like California mustard type stuff, but it's nothing for me to make them. And bro, I've been hearing about you. I'll give you this first beat.
Yeah.
So when he played the beat, I really just freestyle, you know what I'm saying, playing around with it or whatever. He had a studio wherever he produced that. He had the microphone and the Pro Tools. So I just got on the beat instantly, and it was a whole joke, you know what I'm saying? And then we had some females come through, and they heard it. And as soon as they came through, they was like, you know what I'm saying, putting their hands on their knees, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I was like, all right, bet. And then like I let other people hear it. I got my engineer to mix it down, and people was just like, man, this the one. That's, you know what I'm saying. So I performed it at the Golden Explosion. Like that's like the first time I premiered it to like a lot of people or whatever. Performed it at the Golden Explosion. I just seen like AKAs, Deltas, you know what I'm saying, really like twerking off of. I'm like, all right, bet. And I still feel like that song probably ain't reached its full potential, but I don't like the song. Yeah. It ain't really what I want, you know what I'm saying? But everybody tell me, man, put that on the radio. Man, we gonna push this. It ain't really me, but whatever the song do, that's what it do, though. But I appreciate all the love everybody giving it, you know what I'm saying? But it really was an accident. And it was like a whole freestyle. I mean, like I said, the hook, I probably took the beat home and made the hook, but the verses was like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, you know what I'm saying? I made 2 hooks for it, and that was the second one that I made. And the dude who produced the beat, he was like, man, let's go with that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bet.
All right, now next, you know, we your second. Well, I'm gonna say your second joint because you had a lot of joints, bro. Right. This next record, this Proud of Pat record, it seemed to address a lot of like personal issues.
Right. Facts.
What was the overall message from that track?
Proud of Pat was the first song I did off of 22 the mixtape. It came right before 2 in the morning, and I created Proud of Pat on my 22nd birthday. Yeah, the day I turned 22, that's the day I created it. And the motive behind it was like, it was just like, I don't even know what made me snap like that, because everybody be wondering, you know what I'm saying? But the motive behind it was just like, okay, at the time, I was inspired to make a difference, and I was inspired to let people know what's going on and setting some records straight or whatever. But it was what I was going through. Like the whole 22 the mixtape, it was a lot of stuff that I was going through. I didn't even get to be like my full potential artist because I was going through a hard time at that time. Like a lot of stuff was going on, you know what I'm saying? Grandfather had passed. So when I did Proud of Pat, it was like, man, I was just like, I gotta, you know what I'm saying, speak to the people and let them know what's going on around me or whatever. And it was like a lot of people wanted to use my hype and use my name for their events and for their success and stuff like that. And it was like when I started shining away from them, they'll hate, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew what was going on, they'll start hating and stuff like that. So I spoke about it a little bit or whatever, but it really wasn't no like, I'm going at y'all. It's just, I was just spitting the truth.
It's how you felt.
It's just how I felt. It's just like whatever, it just flowed like the whole time. I'm just going, you know what I'm saying? You listen to the song, I'm just going. Just it's a long verse, one long verse. It ain't even like a full song. It's 2 hooks, and you got one long verse in between the 2 hooks. And I'm just talking about everything I'm saying is real facts. And if you like been watching my movement, you know what I'm saying is real facts. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who hear the song, they was like, bruh, dang, that's what's going on. I see it. You know what I'm saying? It's a real song, and you can tell that it really come from my heart. You know what I'm saying? So that's what really, I guess that's what really just, that was the motive of it. Like me spitting what came from my heart.
Now, we'll get back to the fun part. Last Drip, when it came out in December.
Last Drip dropped in it actually did. I dropped it on the 29th, my birthday. Yeah, December. Yeah.
And you went grab Trey for the feature.
Nah. See, the thing about that is it's me and Cam.
That's Cam.
Yeah, that's Cam. Me and Cam.
Cause like, I didn't know his rap name.
Yeah, his name Kickback Killer or whatever. But we from the Trey. We from the Trey 18. That's what we go. That's what we bleed for. We from the Trey. So his name, when we rap together, his name Trey Killer. I'm Trey PA. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know
he can sing rap.
Yeah, nobody did, and that's what it was. Like I feel like I was at a point in time. Like a lot of people like to wait till they successful and they own. I feel like I'm at a point in time right now to shine lights on my brothers. Like I want my brothers to come with me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna wait too long. I ain't gonna wait till I'm booming until where everybody booking me and then try to shine light on them. I'm gonna go ahead and let them get that shine right now. So when I come up, they gonna come up right along with me. So yeah, when we rap together, his name Trey Killer, my name Trey PA, and together we the Treys. But it's like so many people that's a part of the Treys though. Anybody really, to be honest, anybody that's from the Trey 18, you can consider yourself a part of the Treys. Like our DJ, Big John, he a part of the Trey. You know what I'm saying? My partner, Chris, he a part of the trade, like Trey D. You know what I'm saying? That hoop, you know what I'm saying? He a part of the trade. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? You a part of the trade. If you support our movement, you bagging me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you a trade, like you a part of the trades. And so that's our little group name when we rap together, the trades.
Oh, so that's how
that's how I go. Yeah, the artist is the trades. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Now, you know, everybody know the Sauce Twins from Houston.
Facts.
They like the most influential duo out right now.
Yeah.
You know, now, is this song paying homage to them, or?
Yeah, I feel like, on a cool, like, I feel like our motive behind it, and we got a few songs, like, you know what I'm saying, we got a whole EP coming out, you know what I'm saying, as the trades, or whatever. But I feel like Houston has influenced Louisiana artists forever. Everybody is influenced by Pimp C, Bun B, you know what I'm saying, Zero, Scarface, you know what I'm saying, all of the Houston artists, and you know what I'm saying, they always creating that wave. Everybody want to sip lean, everybody want to ride slow, and everybody want to put swangers and candy paint on their car. So when the Sauce Twins came through with they wave of the sauce, you know what I'm saying, their image of the sauce, you know what I'm saying, it influenced the world. It's people who know about sauce that don't even know who the Sauce Twins is, you know what I'm saying, and we just wanted to pay homage because there's a lot of people who stealing flavor, you know what I'm saying. Like, we really be spilling flavor. A lot of people be stealing flavor, you know what I'm saying? But we wanted to let people know, like, we rock with that sauce movement, you know what I'm saying? We put our, you know what I'm saying, put our hand on it, like they really influence us, like paying homage to them, you know what I'm saying? Like, we showing love. We ain't just trying to take their sauce wave and run with it, like, everybody know, you know what I'm saying? It's a fact that we rock with them, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm a fan. I'm officially a fan of you, but I didn't get on board until the NSU Cypher. When I was there to witness that, I was like, Pat mean this was dope.
Yeah.
Now, how serious are you taking battle rap? Are you a fan of battle rap, or you just something?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of battle rap. I've been a fan of battle rap. Like, if you listen to some of my lyrics, and like you see me in a cypher, you see how I convey my words, you see how I go at it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I perform when I do ciphers, like, I perform like a battle rapper, and that's serious to me, especially like that just on the spot rapping. That's serious to me. That's dead serious to me. Like, I don't feel like nobody can stand next to me when it's like on that type of stuff like that, because I take that serious. Like, I don't think people take it as serious as I do. But I'm a huge fan of battle rap. Huge fan of battle rap. I always watch Smack. I always watch, you know what I'm saying, all the East Coast, Philly, you know what I'm saying, the Lion Den and all that. I used to watch all that. I used to be a Reed Dollars fan, you know what I'm saying. That's 10, 12 years ago.
Wow.
And you know what I'm saying, I used to watch battle rap, you know what I'm saying. Because I mean, that's like, to me, that's like one of the purest forms of hip hop. Like, those are the best guys that can rap. Like, they rap the best, clearly. If if you watch the 2015 the Basement Cypher, the dudes who killed it the most is the battle rappers. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes deaded it. The dudes who in the game, they was choking and they was, you know what I'm saying, trying to freestyle, and they was horrible, you know what I'm saying? But the dudes who battle rap, they was killing that, you know what I'm saying? They the best rappers in the world to me. Everybody know that though. Yeah. Any rap, like Jay-Z will tell you that. Jay-Z will tell you, like, the battle rappers are the best rappers in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, man, that time been crazy lately.
Right.
Shooting, robberies, and all that stuff, man. But what's your thought on the music scene in the city, well, the state of Louisiana? Why do you think it's so hard for artists to get on in this area?
Louisiana, or just Natchez?
Natchez, how you feel about that?
All right, with Natchez, I mean, first of all, Natchez, they have very little hope. Like, they don't have nobody to look to say, like, he did that. He from Natchez, he made it. So it's like, they feel like it's impossible. So therefore, they not supporting. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't really want to support nothing that's gonna fail. They only want to support when they know for sure, like, hey, he gonna go. You know what I'm saying? He got it, he gonna go, and it's unseen from here. Yes. It's very unseen. Nobody has really made it to the point where it's just major. Like, man, he performing on 106 in Park, or he performing on the BET Awards, and he grew up right there in Breedertown. It never happened. You know what I'm saying? It never happened. So they got very, very little hope. So everybody pretty much, this little bit of time is a crab, like some crabs in the bucket. They want to pull you down.
What about the state? It seems like it's everywhere.
Yeah. Louisiana is very, very hard to come up out of Louisiana because I believe because it's so small and so many people trying to do it. So it's not enough people supporting one person. Everybody trying to do it, and everybody, you know what I'm saying, trying to do it. They don't want to see you doing better than them. So they don't want to try to show you no love or shine no light on you when they in the same position. You know what I'm saying? It ain't big enough.
And in all actuality, y'all can make it together, really.
Facts. If everybody just was, if they had their mind right like that, and they was really, because I mean on the cool, like you can't have, okay, say the city of Natchez, or even say the city of BR, you can't have 700 people that's rapping and 10 people behind each 700 of those people pushing them. If it was just 7 people that's rapping and 100 people behind each one of those 7 people, then they might be able to get somewhere because the support system ain't big enough. It's too many people doing the same thing and not enough people supporting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't gonna work like that. Everybody gotta try to, you know what I'm saying? You gotta find a way, like, all right, this guy from my section, he the hottest right now, I'm gonna support him. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use my juice, support him, and when he get on, he gonna make a way for all of us. Cause the gate's closed, bro. The gates is closed. You gotta either move away to try to get on, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't just come up right up out of here. It's hard. You know, it's retarded, really.
It is, but
it's ridiculous.
But you also host parties.
Facts.
You also host parties. When did you start hosting parties, and what was your overall vision for it?
The party scene came, well, I mean, you know, ever since I was too young to even get in the club. Like when I was in high school, you know, you see me in the club. I'm in the 19th grade. Yeah, what you doing in here? Like, man, I'm in the 19th grade, so, but you know, I always been a life of a party, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in the parties, turning up and blah, 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 blah. One of the most lit people in any event, you know what I'm saying? And like people start looking to me for that. So when I went to college, went to UL, you know what I'm saying? Just so happened my freshman year, our roommates with Triple D. You know what I'm saying? He'll go MC nothing, go MC Triple D or whatever.
Yeah, he doing his thing Lafayette. I done seen him before.
Yeah, all down south.
I seen him in Corma.
Yeah,
Corma been shut down for a while, so he been putting in work for a little while.
For a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So me and him, we was on the same thing. We the most lit people in the club. We always dancing, turned up, and we start making a name out for ourselves like that. So it got to the point where promoters would tell us like, man, y'all come through, y'all good, blah, 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 blah. Owners of the club would tell you, we stopped paying to get in clubs to the point where they start paying us to promote, you know what I'm saying, parties and stuff like that. And I got a big following during all this time. And also I was living in my own, after my freshman year, I was living in my own apartment on campus. I was throwing house parties, charging people $1 to get in, you know what I'm saying? And so everybody used to follow me on all the social media just to make sure they know what was going on when it was popping.
Yeah.
So I built a name for myself like that, you know what I'm saying, promoting out there in Lafayette. And then I came back home. When I came back home, I was lit. My following was bigger than anybody in the city, you know what I'm saying? My following was huge. So people out here started to ask me, man, promote my party, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Make a long story short, I started throwing my own. I used that juice to start throwing my own parties, putting my own money up, booking these events. You know what I'm saying? Booking these venues and doing events at stuff, and start throwing my own parties like that. And then people start, you know what I'm saying? My name got big. People start asking me to host their events and stuff like that for them and stuff like that.
Speaking of that, on the top of the year, you had your Lituation party.
Yeah.
Birthday bash. It was lit, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Grandma's DJ Twins, they was there. Grandma's own DJs, they was there.
Them my brothers, man. I met them in Lafayette, matter of fact.
Yeah, Jigga Man was there.
Yeah, that's my little brother too.
I was there to witness the new wave in the city. I was there, but
facts. Appreciate you.
I want to get down to nitty gritty, man. College night. What transpired that night? What happened?
College night.
What happened, man?
Right after
Everybody want to know. Everybody talking about they did this, man.
Yeah.
Clear this up for the people who don't know what actually happened.
Well, as far as my concern is, what I think happened was, like I said, it was a new wave. Like before I did the Lituation, I did the Christmas festival party. You know what I'm saying? and I got it. You know what I'm saying? Got the new spot, new wave. Ain't nobody in the city partying like us. So whatever happened was, it was like people caught the sense like it was a problem. I think people was scared. You know what I'm saying? It's a problem. So with me doing it in a new spot, a new club, you know what I'm saying? ATC got called, which is alcohol tobacco control. They got, you know what I'm saying? They got called or whatever. A few. They say a few people called or whatever.
We don't
on this
know
spot.
who. We don't know who.
Man, who's to say? You know what I'm saying? Who's to say? I'm not really tripping, but from what I feel, you know what I'm saying? Probably another club owner. You know what I'm saying? Probably another club owner. But anyway, with this being a new entity or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They know ATC gonna come and check it out, and make sure everything is legit, and they gonna put a pause on whatever we got going on until we prove that hey, it's legit or whatever.
So is the club closed, or are y'all done throwing events, or I mean, what is it?
To be continued. Nah, it ain't nothing gonna stop, man. Like I said, only thing they could do was put the pause on it until, you know what I'm saying, we prove that we got our paperwork, you know what I'm saying, with it being a brand new club and everything like that. But you know, from what I was told, you know what I'm saying, only thing about it, they was having a problem with us selling liquor. So you know what I'm saying, my vision on it, you know, the landlord at this club had it, you know, had the venue grandfathered in to where you can sell liquor at the club, which our paperwork was already getting switched over to our name. But you know, when you have clubs, most clubs have their club building like grandfathered in to where it's legal to sell liquor there. But you know, like I said, it being a brand new, like we reopening the club, you know, whoever called, they knew that ATC was gonna come because it's brand new.